Okay, welcome everyone. This is a new session of our data-driven video summit. In this session, we'll be discussing what it takes to be a perfect cloud TV platform. In this session, we'll have as participants, we have Ophir Hechter. He's VP of Product of Media and Telecom of Kaltura. We have Mark Walker as well. He's head of product at MPP Global. And Natxo Imaz, which he's digital CTO of Mediapro, and as moderator, at last but not least, the CEO of Jump, Jerónimo Macanas. So welcome everyone. I hope everyone is able to connect. And if in case anyone have any question, we have a chat, so please feel free to write your questions on the chat. At the end of the session, we will reply to all of them, or at most, the most of them we can in the time we have.
Okay, thank you, Bruno. So welcome everybody. This is a new session of our data-driven summit. In this case, I'm very excited because basically this panel combines two of my favorite topics, that is data and cloud data and TV, right? So I hope that we all have fun. So just to put some context of the discussions, we came from a phase in the business around video and entertainment, media and entertainment, when all the experiences were living room centric, right? Everything were pre-scheduled experience. And now, more and more, and not just because of the acceleration that, of course, we are living with the contribution of COVID-19, but even before, we saw really a path where really the consumers were demanding new experiences and easy to use and multi-screen and really on demand, anytime, anywhere activity, all these kind of things that at the end, as you all can imagine, put in the table a lot of challenges, how to really keep same experience and same level of quality as all these people used to have when they were sitting on the living room on their sofa, looking at pay TV and those experiences. And now they are demanding same quality, same reliability, same scalability, but with all these new features that you need to blend, all this agility of OTT streaming, openness, creativity in the business models, device reach, personalization, and et cetera, right? So the question here is what it takes to meet that customer expectations, what it takes to be the perfect cloud TV platform. And this is today's topics, and we have a set of experts in this area. I'm more than happy to launch some questions. And let's get started. So the first question is for Ophir. In this highly competitive market between media companies, service providers, tech companies, aggregators, everybody is looking to accomplish the same goal, right? So it's exactly what I've been explaining before. They want to build a powerful cloud TV service to offer reliable connected experience, multi-screen experience, host extensive library of content, be scalable so they can service and grow with its audience, typically cross borders, multiple countries. They want to aggregate others, content providers. So what do you think at the end are the main technology variables to take into account when building a cloud TV service, to be successful in building out a cloud TV service?
Okay, so thank you, Jerónimo, and first of all, hello to everybody. It's great to be here. So I think that first of all, I will start with what you defined before. So when we look at our customers, and I'm talking about the end users, basically, what do they want? Okay, they paid for a TV service, and they want to come to the living room, sit on the sofa, open the TV, and receive the content, right? This is what they basically want. It's true that they care about all the features that we provided them, they care about personalization, but the essence of a TV service is actually the ability to stream and to watch the content that you want. And when you put that as an emphasis, then you understand that the most important thing is that your system should be reliable, that it should be scalable. The system needs to understand that it needs to adapt to all kinds of things that can happen during the streaming of the content. So for example, if we have today some kind of a news event, or if there is a Super Classico or any other sports event, then we have suddenly a burst of users who are, for themselves, it looks very trivial. It's let's say it's 9 p.m., the game starts, they want to watch the game, they open the TV and they want to watch it. For us, as the people who provide the technology and provide the system, we need to suddenly expect a burst of users, let's say, which is like 10 times more than what we expect on a normal time. And this could be in the millions of people if it's a huge event. And this is where you need a system that can know how to scale very fast. Now, there's all kinds of ways of how you use data in order to understand when to scale it, how much to scale it. And there's all kinds of techniques about how you build a cloud TV using containers and Kubernetes and having all kinds of capacity planning for pods. And again, this is mainly relying on a lot of data that you all the time check and you understand what happened before, what kind of user flows are going to happen this time, and how can you better react so you can handle those bursts. Another thing which is, again, very important is how much is your system is robust. Now, robust is a word that we all use, but basically, again, in a TV service, you want your customers to watch the TV. This is, again, what they wanted to do. And customers, when you understand them, you understand that there are some things that they can tolerate. For example, if they wanted to press on favorites on something, to add something to the favorites and didn't work, they will be tolerated for that. But if we're talking about actually missing the game because there's a problem, this is something that they will not tolerate. And this is something that they might even ask for their money back, or they cancel the subscription, they can churn from the service, and this is something that we cannot accept. So when we're talking about robust, it's actually how do we do a very, very fast and rapid detection of problems, and how can we handle them? And when you handle them, it's not always that you find a fix, but you need to mitigate. You need to find a way in order to allow your 99.999% of the customers to still watch the content, even if you have a problem. Then you can use all kinds of caching mechanisms, all kinds of, again, by using data to understand what do you want to cache and how do you keep on the service going, even if you have a problem in your system. Another thing which we found, which is very, very important, is the ability for us as a service provider to update the service. Okay, so if you look at legacy TV services, rolling a new version, rolling the fixes, that can take weeks or if not months. When you introduce all the cloud TV based on cloud services and implementing all kinds of techniques like CI/CD, which is continuous integration, continuous deployment, then you can really react fast. And it's not always reacting to competition and rolling out new features, which is also very important. We do that quite a lot, but it's also how fast can you roll out fixes? How fast can you react to all kinds of problems and things that you found in the service? And this is something that we found which is really crucial. That goes also with the whole architecture of microservices. So you have different services in the system, and you can roll out separate the microservice if you have an issue there or if you want to change something. So I think this is the main thing about the infrastructure and how you should build a real cloud TV that can scale very rapidly and fix itself if there's any issue. Of course, on top of that, there's the level of the user experience. So there's the personalization level, and there's the how do you do a very fast capabilities of discovery of the content. Which content do you promote to customers using all kinds of techniques about pushing the right content, for each segment of users. And this is, again, based on a lot of data research that we're doing and understanding of each customer, what does he want to do, and then know what content to promote to him.
Thanks a lot, Ophir. So basically, scalability, reliability, and automation of the different operations, using, of course, data for reaching these three goals is, in summary, some of the key elements that you think is driving today's state of the art in cloud TV. Thank you.
Yeah, and also cloud-based architecture. So you can do all of these things very fast and do it on a single component using all the tools that you have now from the cloud providers about how you spin up really fast, like in seconds, you can spin up so many pods in order to enhance your system to support the new scale, something that you couldn't do with the old on-premises services that used to be.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so let's move to the next one. This one is for you, Natxo. So in your experience on Mediapro at the end, also as a direct-to-consumer service, which of these variables, all these discussions that we are having, scalability, reliability, automation, cloud-based infrastructure, all of this, you have seen that have an impact on user experience, and which ones do you consider as a fundamental to growth, or is there any stopper that if you don't have that, it's gonna be a stopper for you to grow as a direct-to-consumer service? What do you think about this?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, I agree 100% on what my colleague has said, technically speaking, perfectly. I would like to move a bit to the customer, thinking on the customer, more on the technical field, because one of the things that we have learned is that every project is absolutely different from the other. What the people is asking, or they are asking for different things in each project when we think about the technology, or even inside of every project, we have different targets, people demanding some technologies or others. Let me use some examples. We are running a project for horse racing. In this case, the most important thing for them is the low latency. That is, we could say it's a trending topic during the last year. Everybody's working on low latency. It's very important for them because of the betting that is around the racing. But if you talk with other colleagues that we have in different projects, they don't care about the low latency. They are looking more for stability, not having buffer. They only want to watch the game, the football game, let's say on the sofa, as he said, on TV, without any interruptions. But this is different from a horse racing that you want to bet and needs to be super close to real time. So this is one of the examples of different projects. When we talk about football, because we work a lot on the football projects, we can find different targets inside your subscribers also. You can't imagine how many people subscribe and uses the cell phones. So you are paying a lot of money for a subscription, a premium subscription, but you are watching your content on an iPhone. So maybe you have at home a 65 inches TV, new TV, incredible with artificial intelligence, you know, all the things that they sell. But you finally watch the game on your iPhone, maybe in a different room at home. So probably the needs from the one who is watching on TV are different from the needs that you expect to have on an iPhone, on a laptop, okay, a bit bigger, but very, very far from a TV. Even for us, sometimes we say that the iPhone or the phone and the iPad or the tablets, they are the second screen. But for many people, it's still the first screen. So if you have a brand new TV, probably you are more thinking on 4K. 4K since a couple of years ago, most of the TVs are 4K. So they expect to have this super good quality with HDR probably. So 4K, HDR, and you want to watch the football game on your super big screen. But if you are asking this question to the one who is watching on a small screen like your mobile phone, probably he's more concerned about the stability, buffering, and so on. So what we find is that finally you need to work in many different fields, totally different, but at the same time in parallel. So, and this means a lot of money in terms of resources, because every provider, every device uses different, well, not all of them, but they use different DRM encryptions, for example. If you need to provide access to premium content on Apple devices, you need to use FairPlay. If you use a different devices, you need to use Widevine or even PlayReady. So you need to spend a lot of money on encoders, packetization of the content. That means a lot of money trying to reach as many subscribers as possible, because they want to consume the content in all the devices that they have. So you have the mobile phone, tablets, Chromecast or casting devices like AirPlay and Chromecast, your TVs, PlayStation, Xbox, all the gaming consoles. So you have many different devices, many different protocols, different encryptions. That means that you need to spend a lot of money and resources on that. So that's why I say every project is different. Maybe if your content is not expected to be watched on a big screen, you don't need to spend money on 4K, because production on 4K, it's incredible. It's super expensive. So we have a project for eSports, and they were more worried about the frames per second than on 4K, because they said, I need the content to be, or the streaming to be very smooth. So I need at least 50 frames per second. If we use traditional 25 or 30 frames, you will notice like kind of lag on the stream. So I think that you need to understand the prey that, or the target that you want to approach. And this will determine which of these features you need to build on top, or sometimes in parallel, because you want to reach as many targets as possible. The people who want to watch on TV, the people who want to watch on the iPhone. Even from the marketing and business perspective, you can have different subscription prices. I let you watch here, but not on big screen. If you want to watch here, you need to spend more money. So everything is quite connected, but you need to think about that to build your experience on the cloud, in this case, OTT platforms.
That's a good point, Natxo. So basically, the perfect cloud TV platform, right, will need to handle this different, or this diversity for different use cases or situations. So it's not one size fits all. You really need to take care specifically, because it's going to be a specific challenges for the different specific situations. You mentioned a couple of words. I would like to ask you another question. You mentioned latency. You mentioned also artificial intelligence. What do you think will be the impact of, for example, 5G and artificial intelligence in our business?
Well, artificial intelligence, I think that since some years ago, we're already using that, from the very basic setup to the most complex ones that is arriving now, because of that the computing resources are more powerful, and we can build more powerful experiences on that. One of the key words here is engagement. If you want to engage your customers, you need to recommend content and be able to be as close as possible to what they want, or you need to be very fast to, as soon as they finish, it's the same as other providers like YouTube or others. As soon as you finish watching, you need to be already recommending content, because finally what you want is your customer to stay on the sofa for a long time consuming your content. But obviously don't forget that we need good content, quality content. This is not an all-you-can-eat content, using this sentence, okay? From the 5G perspective, it's difficult in terms of, probably this will give us stability, less buffering when using for the cell phones, for the phones. But we are also using improvements on the latencies for the broadcasting. Don't forget that sometimes you build the OTT experience on top of the broadcast and linear channels, so it's quite connected. 5G is here to help us on that. The latency is incredibly low. Will help us. I would like to say that will help on the first of the chain and at the end of the chain.
Okay, thank you, Natxo. So let's move for the next question. In this case, well, it's a couple of some questions actually for Mark at MVP. So in this context that we are describing, what are the main challenges that your customers usually face when it comes to offering the base cloud TV platform? Is handover from search to buy, user appropriate experience, service continuity. So what is the main challenges that you have seen and you have experienced with your customers? And what do audiences want from a perfect TV cloud, right? So we are discussing here, well, this is what a perfect cloud TV platform needs to have from a more tech-oriented approach. This is what this need to really put the okay. But from the audience perspective, what also do you think is going to be perceived as a perfect cloud TV?
Okay, yeah, well, there's certainly challenges specific to those points raised, and I think there were, you know, in relation to connectivity, resilience, reliability, and scalability was very well addressed in the first question. You know, the kind of issues that we're currently helping our clients deal with currently in relation to their customers is very specific to the environment that we're finding ourselves in now. And this is what I'm going to talk about is quite topical because it is really in relation to ensuring that users are not automatically kicked out of the service that they've paid for. They're not churned automatically. And also understanding and handling content aggregation. So from a churn perspective, you know, subscription management services we've seen have benefited recently from consumers staying at home because they've had to fill voids where they would have normally been doing other activities. But what we're experiencing now is that clients are worried that they're going to lose all of these subscribers and they're essentially using their data to best understand how they can retain them. So in a recent output for IMNA, MPP Global have used client data to understand areas of churn risk and essentially provide on the best course of action to retain those individuals. And what's really interesting is that there are patterns that can be identified as you segment user data, which you can then use to target them. But what makes it more interesting is the segments and the retention actions to be implemented can be different across not only segments, but different verticals and clients. And in addition to these churn-related challenges, some clients, specifically sports clients in general, are concerned that they're going to have issues in relation to acquisition as well as churn, understanding how they can offer different subscription model variation and flexibility should we continue to experience disruption across sporting calendars, and ensuring that subscribers who may have subscribed for a particular event don't drop off. So it's understanding, using data, what's interesting to that user to be able to keep them by understanding their needs, their wants, what's entertaining them, and providing that content to them. So, you know, technologies that clients are leveraging to address these churn-related challenges, specific to capturing and understanding this, is really related to capturing and grabbing the metadata of a user, as well as the downstream payment-related transactional data. And through this metadata, clients are implementing advanced experience optimization capabilities that ensure customers are continuously engaged and that the content is reliable and that any prices or offers that have been provided to them are proven to generate positive responses. In addition, using payment transaction data, clients have been responding to those response codes coming from downstream payment providers to essentially ensure that they can present the retries of payments in the optimal time. So it's all about capturing that data and using it appropriately so that you can take the next best course of action. And in relation to aggregation, there's a lot of options available for customers now. I can watch everything I want, but I say nearly because there is separation across certain content providers. And as a result, some customers, they have to make choices about what content they subscribe to. And where a choice is made, a choice is not made as well, and there's a loss sometimes in revenue opportunities. But more importantly, the customer loses out because they don't get to watch everything they wanted. And so service and content aggregation is very important, and you need to ensure that the customer is central to the decision making and ensure that they're considered and provided with the options that keep them paying. In fact, there's a great example of this from BT in the UK, BT Sport. They recently introduced the ability to switch in and out different variations of sports packages between BT Sport and Sky Sports, and it allows the user who follows a particular club, where that particular club is on one service provider 1 week, 1 month, and is on another month. They can just essentially switch them out, and that's really good because for BT, they're constantly keeping that particular consumer engaged on their service by offering the ability to pull in other services.
Thanks a lot, Mark. So continuing adding our blogs, right, to the Perfect Cloud TV platform, as far as I understood from you, from your perspective, adding churn prediction or churn management, both voluntary and involuntary, plus also strategies for really improving conversion rates, plus some sort of flexibility for creating with creativity, different packages you can offer to the end customer. It would be like 3 main good blocks to add to the Perfect Cloud platform. Thank you. Okay, so a new question for Natxo. So, and then let's change a bit. So what I suggest you guys is that Natxo will answer this question, and then you both, Ophir and Mark, can add on top of that. What do you think? So the question is another $1 million question, actually. So what do you think cloud TV technology will evolve in the near future? How are you specifically planning to adapt these new trends? Which are your priorities in terms of the trends that are coming and that really you think that can make a difference moving forward in the future?
The key for me is, as Mark said, also aggregation. Now everybody wants to have an OTT. Every provider, every telco company, everyone who has interesting content or even not interesting content, they want to have their own brand, their own OTT platform, and be on as many devices as possible, on the smart TV, on an application at your mobile phone. So this is quite confusing for the user, and that means a lot of money that you need to spend subscribing to all the different services. That's why I think that in the future, some TV brands, for example, let me use Samsung example, is doing very well because they are agnostic in terms of which is the application that is streaming the content, and they present a lot of content as soon as you switch on your TV. So the user doesn't need to take care of, so this is HBO or is it Netflix, this series, or where do I need to subscribe? So they are trying to pack all the content, present on a very simple layer on top of the as I said, as soon as you open the switch on the TV, and make life easier for the subscriber, for the user. So you don't need to take care of how many different subscriptions or options do we have in the market, using the most common examples, okay, HBO, Netflix, now Amazon Prime Video, that also you are subscribed if you have Prime. In Spain, we have the local telco companies like Movistar, Vodafone, Orange, and so on. And they are doing bundles between them. This is super important because the marketing guys or the business guys at Movistar and Telefonica, they say, why don't we do a bundle with Netflix? So this is super good for the customer. With a bit more affordable, they can watch Netflix on our platform. So they will subscribe to the fiber connection at home, the mobile phones for all the family. We have the football inside, football or other sports inside the subscription, and we add Netflix on top. This is super good opportunity also for the customer to save money. I can't imagine what will happen in the future when Netflix or any other Amazon buy the rights for the sports like Spanish football, La Liga, and they make a super affordable package, Netflix for entertainment and football, because it's the most important sport here in Spain, at a very affordable price. They will break the market. This will be incredible if they do, and probably they will do in the future, in the near future. So aggregation is super important for me, is the key. It doesn't matter if we spend a lot of money trying to build a great platform. Finally, if we make this super easy to access the content to the user, and they don't need to switch between, I go to Amazon Prime Video, then I jump to Netflix, then I jump to HBO looking for the content, because we need to make things easier. And this will be the future. At the beginning, there were only a couple of them, but now everybody has an OTT. So we need to think about that and probably work with the manufacturers like Samsung, LG, or all the brands in the market, trying to build this experience not only on TVs, also on the devices, but make this work together. You can't go on your own. Finally, you need to integrate others and make the things easier for the customer.
Natxo, so I'm going to make the comments from Mark and Ophir a bit more difficult, because I think that you, Natxo, touch one of the hottest topic actually on the table, right? It's the super aggregation approach. And you also touch a very sensitive thing, that is, it's going to be the manufacturer, it's going to be the pay TV operator who are going to win on this. I mean, I do believe that these two players are pushing hard for controlling that aggregation experience. So Mark and Ophir, difficult question. What do you think the future will evolve on the super aggregation strategy specifically in the future? If you agree that this is part of the future, of course.
Yeah, so I will try to go first with this difficult question. First of all, we in Kaltura truly believe in those, I will call it, there's like two players in the market. There's the super aggregators and there's the universal syndicators. Okay, so I would just say one word about the universal syndicators. These are actually the content providers. Okay, they own the content and they want to syndicate it to as many as possible services around the world. We've built all kinds of tools for them, and this is basically what they want to do. And there's all kinds of new models of how they syndicate their content. There's something that we are calling as a content as a service, that you charge per stream, the aggregators for using your content, instead of how it was back in those days when you sent a beta cassette and sold it. So today you can actually control the metadata that you expose. You can control the video path that you expose, and you can also control the charging of the content. So this is the part of the syndicators. Then you have, of course, the super aggregators, and I truly believe in what also Natxo said, and this is the thing where the market is going. So we used to be with only super aggregators, right? Where like every country had a few operators that bought all the content from all the content providers, and they were actually the super aggregators. And then all the content providers started to do B2C instead of doing B2B. And also there's new content providers like Netflix, and we see other companies like that all the time rising and trying to promote their content. And there's too many of them. As Natxo said, the environment is full, the ecosystem is full of these services, and the customer is now starting to lose money. If he wants to watch a few TV series, he needs to buy too many subscriptions for that. And I think that the time will tell, but I think this is again my opinion that some of those new services that we've seen out there, they will not survive in a few more years. The companies have enough money. We're talking about the big players, but still, there's new services that launched in the last year and they're not so successful. You know, we all hear about how successful is Disney Plus, but we also have Peacock and Quibi that are not so successful as Disney Plus. And I think that over the years, we'll see less services than we see that right now. I think that now, and this is why we also heard about the term the last year, which is called streaming wars. So the wars is now going on between all the streaming services, but there will be less of them. And then when we go again to the super aggregators, they will still be there. I think that the operators, the big operators of the world, like Vodafone TV, which are our customer, they will still be there. They will still aggregate that content. They will have all kinds of different deals with Netflix and Amazon Prime Video about how to expose their content, if it's going to be by deep linking or inside the catalog. These are all kinds of different discussions. But in the end of the day, I think that the operators are going to last, and the operators are going to be the super aggregators of the new world. And they will be able to create for the end users the perfect bundles in order to consume the content that you want in affordable price.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, Mark, and we have 9 minutes. So
yeah,
please.
Okay, I'll make it quite quick. It's a tricky one really, because I actually see for both consumer and the content providers the good and the bad of aggregation. Really, I think that for the consumer, the aggregation means that there's a lot more content coming into one particular service, and it means that there's a lot more choice within just one subscription service. But you, as a consumer, you can also find yourself on the outside as well. So, you know, if it comes to affordability, you might only be able to subscribe to one particular service, let's say Disney, and you can't subscribe to Netflix. You then kind of isolating that consumer from certain types of content. And just on the provider, the content provider's perspective, you know, it's great having aggregation, because with these super aggregators, they have great infrastructure, allowing content to be distributed on probably a wider scale than you might have been able to do yourself. But the trade-off there is you can lose access to that vital data that then can start holding you back from growing your own content, because you don't know who your consumer is. And also you start offering up a percentage of that revenue as well. So I think you need to consider what strategy you want to go for. Do you want to use a super aggregator to get out there quick and fast and then look to bring it back in-house, or vice versa?
Okay, thanks, Mark. Okay, so I think we are already set. So we have the perfect cloud TV platform. So guys, thank you very much. Thanks, Natxo, Mark, Ophir. Really nice conversation and really interesting insights. And good to see you. And thanks everybody that is attending the session. And of course, remembering everybody, there is a Slack channel that is Data Driven Summit where they can just log in, and there's a lot of networking happening there. And you can ask also new questions or comment of the ones that we just discussed. So thanks everybody, thank you, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.